Everyone is told the same story. Become a better person. Work harder. Learn more. Stay patient. Be kind. Eventually, life will reward you. It is a comforting story. It is also incomplete, because history remembers very few people simply for being better. It remembers those who learned to see what everyone else refused to notice. They recognized that beneath every negotiation, every election, every boardroom decision, every friendship, and every public victory, there is an invisible architecture, a pattern of incentives, perceptions, fear, ambition. Most people spend their lives reacting to what happens on the surface. A strategist studies what created the surface in the first place. That difference changes everything. Niccolò Machiavelli was never fascinated by cruelty. He was fascinated by reality. He asked a dangerous question. What if success belongs less to the strongest person and more to the one who understands how people actually behave when comfort disappears? That question has never stopped being relevant. Look around. Companies collapse while their competitors quietly prepare years in advance. Careers disappear because someone failed to recognize a shift that was obvious in hindsight. Relationships end after hundreds of ignored signals that suddenly seem impossible to miss. The warning signs were always there. Most people simply looked in the wrong direction. This video is not about becoming ruthless. It is about becoming difficult to deceive. It is about replacing comforting illusions with uncomfortable clarity. Because the moment you stop judging life by appearances, you begin noticing the machinery beneath it. And once you see the machinery, you can never look at the world the same way again. Number 1. Stop worshiping appearances. The greatest mistake people make is believing that what they see is what truly exists. A confident executive must know exactly what he is doing. A charismatic politician must deserve trust. A successful entrepreneur must have all the answers. Our minds crave simple conclusions because uncertainty is exhausting. But the visible outcome is usually the final chapter of a much longer story. Every impressive result hides hundreds of invisible decisions. Every public failure often began with small compromises nobody noticed. This is why experienced strategists rarely react to headlines. They investigate incentives. When a company suddenly launches a generous campaign, they ask what pressure forced that decision. When a public figure makes an emotional apology, they ask what changed behind closed doors. When someone becomes unusually friendly after months of silence, they wonder what objective now exists. This habit is not cynicism, it is disciplined observation. Modern life rewards appearances because appearances travel faster than truth. Social media magnifies confidence, not competence. Meetings reward certainty, even when certainty is unsupported. Marketing sells emotion before evidence. None of this means every smiling face hides deception. It means perception is a tool, and every tool can be used wisely or carelessly. The real advantage comes from slowing your judgment. Instead of asking whether something looks convincing, ask what conditions made it possible. Instead of asking who seems powerful, ask who quietly controls the incentives. History repeatedly shows that influence often belongs to the person speaking the least. While arranging the environment, everyone else must operate inside. Once you begin searching beneath appearances, ordinary conversations become maps of hidden priorities. You stop chasing impressions and start recognizing structure. And once structure becomes visible, another uncomfortable realization follows. The greatest illusion you face may not come from other people. It may come from the story you tell yourself. Number 2, question the story you call your identity. Most people believe identity is something they discover. In reality, Much of it is inherited before it is examined. A child hears enough opinions and eventually mistakes them for facts. Quiet, loud, talented, difficult, responsible, ordinary. Years later, those labels continue making decisions long after the voices that created them have disappeared. The danger is not that these descriptions were completely false. The danger is that they were accepted without investigation. Organizations experience the same trap. A company that once dominated an industry often assumes yesterday's strategy will protect tomorrow's position. By the time reality proves otherwise, competitors have already rewritten the rules. Human beings make the same mistake. We confuse familiarity with permanence. We defend habits simply because they feel like part of us. Yet history favors those willing to audit their assumptions before circumstances force them to. Ask yourself a different question. Which beliefs about yourself are based on direct evidence, and which are simply repeated memories? Perhaps you believe you are poor under pressure because of one failure years ago. Perhaps you assume leadership belongs to louder personalities because that was true in one environment. Perhaps you avoid opportunities because an outdated version of yourself still occupies the driver's seat. A strategist treats identity as a working hypothesis rather than a permanent verdict. Every important decision becomes an opportunity to gather better evidence. Instead of protecting an old narrative, you refine it. Instead of asking whether this choice matches who you have always been, ask whether it matches the future you intend to build. That shift is subtle, yet profound. The people who shape history rarely inherit a fixed identity. They deliberately construct one through repeated choices aligned with reality instead of comfort. But even that is only the beginning, because understanding yourself matters little if you still misunderstand the invisible forces shaping everyone around you. Number 3, study incentives before you judge behavior. People often describe others with simple words: honest, selfish, loyal, ambitious, weak, strong. Those labels feel satisfying because they reduce complexity into certainty. Yet they rarely explain why people behave the way they do. Behavior is not created in isolation. It is shaped by incentives. Change the incentives, and behavior often changes with them. This is one of the oldest observations in political history, and it remains painfully relevant in modern life. A manager announces a new vision, but the bonus system still rewards short-term numbers. Employees ignore the speech and follow the incentive. A company claims innovation is its highest priority, yet punishes every failed experiment. Creativity slowly disappears without anyone ordering it to. A government promises reform while rewarding the institutions that benefit from the current system. Nothing changes because the structure never changed. Individuals are no different. Someone who constantly interrupts conversations may not simply crave attention. They may have learned that speaking first is the only way they are noticed. A colleague who resists every proposal may not enjoy conflict. They may fear losing relevance if the old process disappears. When you stop reducing people to personality alone, a deeper picture emerges. You begin asking what reward, fear, or pressure exists beneath the visible action. This perspective does not excuse harmful behavior. It explains it. And explanation is far more useful than outrage. Once you understand the forces moving people, your decisions become calmer. You stop taking every disagreement personally. You stop assuming every obstacle is directed at you. You recognize that most individuals are responding to the system surrounding them more than they are expressing some permanent character trait. That realization changes how you negotiate, how you lead, and how you solve problems. Instead of arguing endlessly against symptoms, you learn to examine the machinery producing them. History consistently favors those who redesign systems instead of endlessly complaining about outcomes. But seeing incentives in others is only half the discipline. The more difficult challenge is recognizing the invisible incentives quietly directing your own life. Number 4, build a mind that cannot be rushed. Modern society rewards speed, instant replies, immediate opinions, endless notifications. Every interruption competes for your attention, creating the illusion that urgency and importance are the same thing. They are not. The fastest decision is rarely the clearest one. In negotiations, the person demanding an immediate answer often gains an advantage simply because everyone else becomes uncomfortable with silence. In financial markets, fear of missing out has erased more wealth than careful analysis ever has. In politics, a crisis often pressures leaders into symbolic actions that appear decisive but solve very little. Urgency narrows perception. It convinces intelligent people to choose relief over accuracy. The disciplined mind works differently. It recognizes that emotional momentum is not reliable evidence. Before responding, it asks a quieter question. What changes if I wait long enough to understand the situation more completely? That pause is not hesitation. It is strategic patience. Consider two executives facing the same unexpected setback. One immediately blames a department, announces sweeping reforms, and creates weeks of confusion. The other spends 2 days collecting information, identifies a flaw in the decision-making process rather than the people involved, and solves the problem with one measured adjustment. From the outside, the second leader appeared slower. In reality, they arrived at the destination first because they refused to confuse motion with progress. This discipline extends far beyond business. Every disagreement invites an impulsive response. Every criticism tempts immediate defense. Every rumor encourages premature judgment. Yet many conflicts lose their power when they are observed before they are answered. A composed mind creates options that an agitated mind never notices. That is why patience has always been misunderstood. It is not passive waiting. It is active observation, while others exhaust themselves reacting to incomplete information. Over time, this habit produces something more valuable than quick victories. It builds credibility. People begin trusting your judgment because your conclusions consistently survive longer than emotional first impressions. And in a world addicted to speed, the rare individual who refuses to be rushed often becomes the one everyone eventually follows.